Hey, how's it going? This is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking you through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you could turn your website into a lead generation machine and really generate some more revenue for your business month over month. Now, if you take a look at the top here, we're looking at AC Repair in Houston, which generates about 1,600 searches per month. Now, obviously, it's a lot more searches than that when you factor in, you have different search terms like AC installation or AC repair near me. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to be focusing on AC Repair Houston and how we could turn those 1,600 searches a month into revenue for your business. So let's start by taking a look at your website. So I'm on your website, and the first thing I notice when looking at your AC repair page in the Houston area is that you have a very visually aesthetic website. However, from an SEO standpoint, there's a lot of things that we can touch up to increase our search appearance on places like Google. Now, to do that, we're first going to talk about internal search engine optimization. Now, what is it and why is it important? Well, internal search engine optimization is essentially all the different ways we can improve your search appearance from within your website itself. Now, normally when you hear about internal SEO, or you're going to be talking about things like title tags, heading tags, local business schema. And while those are all great and included in our SEO package, for the sake of this video, we are just going to focus on content and keywords because those are the two most important aspects of internal SEO. And then you can go in and touch up your title tags, your heading tags, and all those other things. But let's start with content. So, why is content so important? Well, content is very important because it gives users something to engage with. And so we want a very content-full website to give our users something to engage with and promote a positive user experience. Now, when a user has a positive experience on your website, they are more likely to come back to your website or to Google for future searches. So it makes sense that Google would promote websites with a lot of content a lot more favorably. Now, I normally recommend that people go for about 750 to 1,000 words of content on any given page. And you can obviously scale that depending on how you want, but 750 to 1,000 has been that golden range that I've found that doesn't really take away from the visual aesthetic, however, still let us be very content full. So definitely play around with it, but we want to be more content full. However, we don't just want to have any content on our website. A lot of people will say, well, Justin, why don't I just throw up 5,000 words on a page and call it a day? Now, the reason we can't do that is because we have to make sure that our content is relevant. And now, how do we do that? Well, we make sure our content is relevant by using the right keywords. Keywords are words or phrases that are most used on a web page, and based on these words and phrases, Google's going to determine what your website is about. So normally I like to tell people when we make our keywords list that we want to answer the three main questions for Google. Number one being what industry we are in, or what do we do? Number two being where do we do it, so our location. And then number three being who are we, so our brand. So let's take a look at your current keywords and see what we can kind of, take away from them as far as what we can do to improve them, and see what you have going with you so far. So here we are on a tool I use called Keywords Everywhere, and if we scroll down here, you're going to notice your most used keywords. For the sake of time in this video, we're just going to focus on the top 6. However, I do always recommend optimizing further. But let's talk about these first 6 keywords. So number 1 and 2, I really recommend putting industry-specific keywords. In your case, you put air number 1, which is great, very popular keyword amongst AC repair companies. But number 2, HVAC is really good as well. However, I normally recommend something like repair. We want some sort of complement keyword to that first industry specific keyword. So for instance, if AC was number 1, we would want repair or installation at number 2. So something that complements that first keyword. HVAC is good though, so not the end of the world. And then let's move down to number 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, I recommend putting your location in there. So number 3 being your city, number 4 being your state. And the reason being for this is that it really helps Google determine where we do business and how to drive local traffic to us. Because if they don't know where we're working or where we're going from, then it makes it really hard for them to determine that. And ultimately, they're just going to put us on a national level, which we don't want because we don't want leads from New York or, from another place. We want leads specifically from the Houston area. So definitely put our location at 3 and 4. Now, 5 and 6, I always recommend putting your brand in there. I know you have it a little bit higher up. However, 5 and 6 is a good spot for it. And I always recommend putting your brand in there just because a lot of people think that just because they own the domain, they automatically rank number 1 for their business name. And while that's true in some cases, it's not true in all cases because there are businesses with similar names out there, either in the United States or maybe across the world. However, we always want to make sure that we rank for our brand so that customers can find us. So let's kind of recap number 1 and 2. industry-specific keywords. Number 3 and 4, we want our location. And number 5 and 6, we want our brand. That's going to help us answer those 3 main questions, but let's take a look at your competitors to see what they're doing as far as content and keywords go. Are on Air Tech Houston. They are the #1 organically ranking company for AC repair in the Houston area. And if we scroll down here, you're going to notice that they have a ton of content on this page alone. In fact, the only thing about this page is that it is content. There's no images. There's nothing else. It's really just content. This is all the footer, but the main page itself is all up here. And like I said, it's really just content full. And you're seeing they're reaping the benefits of having a content full site, along with all the other SEO factors on top of it. But let's take a look at the relevance of this site because obviously you can't just rank with content. You need that relevant content and keywords. So let's take a look at what keywords they're using and where they're placing them. So once again, we're back to keywords everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you'll notice that they have air at #1. Like I said, very industry specific, popular term that's being used is air. So that's really great. And then #2, you see them immediately go to that location. So like I said, very important to harp on that location. I recommend 3 and 4 spots, but they put it in the #2 spot. However, like I said, very important for driving local traffic. And then #3, they put service, then home, and it kind of starts to fall off a little bit. However, I would recommend, taking some things from this list, applying them to your own website, and kind of mixing and matching keywords along with the strategy that I told you in order to create the strongest keywords possible. Obviously, this works for them. However, like I said, you can always further optimize to really create the strongest keywords list possible. However, let's go back to your website and talk about external search engine optimization. So we've been talking a lot about internal SEO, but now let's talk about external SEO. And external SEO is essentially all the different things we can do away from your website to improve your search appearance. Now, in this case, we're going to be talking about backlinking. So backlinking, very simple, just a link from one website to another. But from an SEO perspective, a lot more is going on. So when a website gets a backlink from one website to another, essentially what a website is saying is that I trust or I recommend the information or the business that is being linked to. Now, this is very important because what it does, it transfers SEO power from one website to another or one web page to another, and it acts as a reference to Google saying, hey, like I said, I trust this website. And now when we get a quality link from a quality website, it really can put a good word into Google for us. So can really move the rankings. However, it's very important that we focus on the quality of our backlinks. I see it all the time. People go on Fiverr, they buy $50 worth of links, get 10,000 backlinks, and immediately their site crashes 50 rankings. And that's not a mistake because just like we can get good backlinks from a good source, we can also get bad backlinks from a bad or harmful source. And what that's going to do is tell Google that we are also one of those bad or harmful sources. So really important that we focus on the quality of our backlink structure. Let's take a look at what type of backlinks you've been building currently using one of the tools I have called Ahrefs, and then we'll work through what we can do to improve it. So let's go over to that tool now. So here we are in Ahrefs backlink kind of measurement tool, and you'll see that you currently don't have any UR. You have a 7 DR. You don't have any backlinks built to this page, but you do appear in the top 100 for 141 different keywords and generate about 41 organic users every single month. Now, something important to note here is the traffic value. Your traffic value is estimated at $844. Now, what traffic value is it's essentially a measurement of how much buyer intent each user has based on the keyword that they come from. So for instance, let me give you an example. Somebody who comes from air conditioners might not carry as much buyer intent as somebody looking for AC repair. Now, the reason being is that somebody looking for air conditioners could be looking for an installation, a repair, or maybe even just pictures of an air conditioning unit. So you never know what they're looking for. Whereas AC repair normally leads 9 times out of 10, or I'd even say 9.9 times out of 10, will lead to somebody looking for some sort of repair service. So like I said, it'll carry a lot more buyer intent, and that's how you get that 844 traffic value. But let's keep working down the line. Before we talk about what these metrics are, let's look at one of your competitors. That way we can get a kind of a better grasp of what these metrics mean and see them live in action. We're looking at Air Tech of Houston. They have a 33 UR, a 35 DR, which generates them about 2,200 users per month and almost makes them about $70,000 worth of traffic value every single month. So a lot of value there, but let's break down these metrics. Now, UR stands for URL rating, and what that is the individual power given to a single web page. So in this case, we are just talking about the home page. Now, DR, on the other hand, stands for domain rating, and what that is the power that goes through an entire website. So now we're talking about the home page, all these AC pages, these heating pages, financing, about us, all those pages combined in one are summarized in DR. Now, We want the strongest of both metrics along with our internal SEO to create the strongest results possible. And obviously, you see that they've done that, and it's created a lot of value for them. So definitely something to look at. And obviously, we can go in and outrank them if we follow the strategies so far. So let's keep working down the line here and take a look at some other competition. We have Abacus Plumbing with a 27 UR, a 46 DR, generates them about 500 users per month, about $20,000 worth of traffic value. We have John Moore Services. They have a 28 UR, a 42 DR, 232 organic users per month, and about $7,000 worth of traffic value. So definitely a lot of value there if you follow the strategies. But let's go back to the Google search engine results page and talk about the Google My Business profile and the Google Map Pack. So the last part of our SEO process is the Google My Business profile or Google My Business Map Pack. And let's kind of take a look down here. This is the Google Map Pack, and it's really important because it gives businesses a second place that you can win on Google. What we've been talking about so far is down below. However, like I said, you do have the opportunity to win in this Map Pack, and if you can do both and get the #1 ranking in both, you guarantee 1,600 people see your business first before looking at another competitor. And obviously, you can multiply that by however many searches you rank #1 by. So really, really important, a lot of potential here. Now, to get into the Map Pack, you first have to verify your business via postcard with Google, which is 100% free. And to rank in the Map Pack, you have to adhere to the different factors that they're looking for. The #1 thing that they're looking for is that you verify your business and gave them 100% information filled out. And the reason I say 100% is because the more business information you give them, the more reputable your business looks. #2, they look for a strong organic rank, which is why SEO is so important, because not only does it help down below, but it also helps influence this Map Pack. And then #3, what they're looking for is citations. Now, citations are all the different places your business's name, address, and phone number are listed online. Some popular citations are things like Yelp, maybe the Yellow Pages, the Yellow Books. All of those are different citations you can get for your business. Let's take a look at how many citations each of these companies has and determine how many you'll need to go in and start outranking them. So here we are in a tool I use called WhiteSpark, and as you'll see here, we have those 3 companies listed. We have H-Town AC Repair with 23 citations, ASAP Air with 63, and lastly, Richmond's Air with 14. So all in all, not too many citations here. Obviously, we have a 63 in here, which is very important. Normally, I like to recommend that we double the number of citations of the biggest company in there. So we're going to need 126 citations in order to really go in and outrank them on top of all those other factors I talked about before. You see it here where, some businesses follow citations, some have stronger organic rankings, but we really want to tie all of them together so something like this doesn't happen, where we have more citations, but we don't rank as high. So definitely something to think about. We want to focus on all the factors. We can't neglect one and try to focus on the other because it won't work in the end. Now, this is all I have for you in this video. I hope it was very helpful and educational. Once again, my name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and there was a lot of things in this video that we didn't get to talk about for time's sake. However, we'd be happy to set up a meeting with you to talk about those, as well as any questions you had about the video. But once again, this is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. Thanks for watching.